I'm Terry Fitzsimmons from the Workplace Gender Equality Centre at the University of Queensland. So one of the things that Albert Einstein observed, and it was quite ironic of course given that he's a scientist, but he observed that one of the most powerful forces in the universe is compound interest, and that comes through very clearly in the gender superannuation gap, where a 14 or even an 18% pay gap can then translate into a 54% gap in the amount of retirement income for a superannuant by gender. So women right now are retiring on 54% less than men are retiring on. And that's a major component of that is the gender pay gap, but also that women are taking more time out of the workforce than men and are not getting recognised, certainly in terms of pay or superannuation, for doing so. So the pay gap is actually a bit more complex than some people think. Primarily, that most people think it's a like-for-like pay gap. That is, people are doing the same role but being paid different amounts, and certainly that happens. But the pay gap's made up of a lot more than that. It actually represents differences in the average pay rate in an industry, and it just so happens that in most, if not all, industries that are dominated by men, the pay rates are higher, and industries dominated by women, the pay rates are lower. And so because we have a 9% superannuation levy, 9% of a lesser amount will always result in a compounded lesser amount. So there's that aspect of it. The other aspect is if women take any time out of the workforce because of the way in which progression works, currently that women are disadvantaged in progression, so men tend to be higher in pay scales even within the same band because of their uninterrupted service, whereas women are at the bottom end of the band. And again, anything that creates a disparity in pay creates a disparity in superannuation. The other thing that's very interesting with the pay gap is that on measures of base salary we have one figure for the pay gap, but we also have a difference in full remuneration. And in terms of packaging, some elements might be captured by superannuation levy, some elements may not be. But we do know that men are advantaged even in that extra remuneration on top of base salary. So it doesn't really matter which way you cut the gender pay gap, women are losing out. And because they're missing out in the pay gap, they're missing out in superannuation. So if we're looking to close that superannuation gap, we need to address all of those elements. So the structure of our economy in terms of gendered industry, we have to address why is it that women are being disadvantaged by time out and flexible roles, and of course we have to address the like-for-like gap, which there seems to be a lot of focus on. But even that in itself, if we can solve all of that, we've still got that historic gap that we may have to make up across a lifetime. So women that are in their say 30s or 40s are still going to be behind in terms of retirement. So whatever we do now is still going to take perhaps 40 years to flow through the system. So I think it's not all doom and gloom. I think one of the things that's certainly changed in the last few years is that we are becoming better equipped to understand the problem. We certainly understand its causes and the drivers, and also the mechanisms whereby we can fix this problem. The research is showing us that we do need to address each component of the pay gap, and that there's different things required to address each part of the pay gap. So there are elements of the pay gap around boys and girls choosing careers that are well and truly within the area that a parent or a school can help address, so that we're not getting this gendered workforce that we've been getting. But on the same token, we've got Women in Super doing work around investigating what can be done, policy drivers, policy shifts, and there's such a momentum around gender equality and an awareness around the disparity in outcomes at the moment that I think we could look forward to very soon seeing some government intervention.